All right. Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm Corinne, and thank you for hopping on this Zoom, whatever you want to call it, demo class, webinar session. I really appreciate you taking time to, whether you have been practicing hormone yoga therapy or you're curious and you want to learn more, I really appreciate you hopping on. It's nice to see some familiar faces that I haven't seen for a long time. So we are going to start with, I have a little, it's called Prezi, it's a presentation. And from there, we are going to do, I'll show you the main breath that we use in the majority of the postures. And then we'll go through the warming up. There's only 7 postures for the warming up section. And then a couple postures we'll do in the daily series. Feel free to do them. Feel free to watch. There's so many little techniques and details in hormone yoga therapy that you will not, you might feel overwhelmed after watching this today, but once you start practicing it, it comes fairly quickly. So I would say it takes about 3 to 4 weeks. Questions, we'll do a Q&A at the end. And the best way to do a Q&A is if you just write in the chat box and then I will answer back. Okay, so I'm going to switch here to shared screen. So some of you know me, some of you don't. So I'll just give you a little fun facts that I was certified by the founder of Hormone Yoga Therapy, Dina Rodriguez, in Chile, Santiago, Chile in 2017. And then this summer, I created the only Hormone Yoga Therapy online self-paced program. So there are other teachers teaching HY, obviously online right now during COVID, but I don't think they're doing a self-paced program. So classes through Zoom. I've been teaching yoga for almost 17 years, and my specialty has been yoga for pregnancy and beyond, postnatal yoga, yin and hatha. So a little personal stuff about me. I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and a 7-year-old granddaughter. As a doula, I attended more than 200 births and caught a few babies, spent 3 months in an ashram in India. I love to travel and miss it. Looking forward to a trip in the future. I kissed an Lama on the Inca Trail. And I also lead yoga retreats and have had to cancel 5 yoga retreats in the past year. So let's get right down to the hormones and what we are doing in hormone yoga therapy. So just so we're all on the same page, just give a little read here. They're chemical messengers that are secreted into the blood, which carries them to organs and tissues. There's many types of hormones that act on different aspects of the body and processes, development and growth, metabolism of food items, sexual function and reproductive growth and health. Those are the ones that hormone yoga therapy focuses on. However, all the other hormones are affected as well. Cognitive function and mood, maintenance of body temperature and thirst. So the 3 main female hormones are estrogen, and they're responsible for brain, cardiovascular system, hair and skin, muscular system, menstrual cycle, urinary tract, and helps keep our cholesterol in control. And that's one that many of us don't realize, that as we age, our cholesterol levels can increase, and hormone yoga therapy can actually help keep them in check. Once we hit menopause, our ovaries are no longer producing estrogen. However, we have small amounts of estrogen in our hair and skin. Progesterone, ovaries produce after ovulation. And again, once we hit menopause, we're not producing progesterone. but what it does is it prepares the uterus for fertilized eggs. So if you're still a menstruator, suppresses estrogen production after ovulation, prepares the breast for breastfeeding. And sometimes we think, well, why do we even need progesterone? But progesterone is very important, and it's very important to be in balance with estrogen. And then our friend testosterone in small amounts, and very important, helps us with our sex drive, regulation of menstrual cycle, bone and muscle strength. Okay, so signs of high estrogen. So a lot of us have heard the term estrogen dominant. And what that means is that the estrogen is higher than the progesterone. So those two hormones are not in balance. Signs of it are weight gain, mostly around the hips, waist, and thighs, very common in perimenopause. So starting around age 35 and up. Period problems, heavy bleeding, irregular bleeding, intense, raging PMS, fibrocystic breasts, fibroids, fatigue, low libido, feeling down and anxious. And then what happens if our estrogen is too low next to progesterone? Periods that are less frequent or that stop, hot flashes or night sweats. So this is moving into the latter part of perimenopause and moving into menopause. Trouble sleeping, dryness and thinning of the vagina, low libido, mood swings, and dry skin. Low progesterone, irregular cycles, infertility, headaches, migraines, mood changes, hot flashes, again, weight gain, fibroids, and endometriosis, which I talk a little bit about later in a few slides down. High progesterone, PMS, feeling bloated, and mood swings. And high testosterone. So people that are diagnosed with PCOS often have high testosterone, lots of acne, voices deepening, excess hair on the face and body, increased muscle mass, irregular periods, loss of libido, mood changes, thinning hair, reduction in breast size, larger than normal, clitoris, and PCOS. People who are going through transgender will be taking high testosterone, going from obviously from being born female to identifying as a male. Low testosterone, low libido, depression, lethargy, and muscle weakness. These hormones work as a unit, and they are very, it's a very delicate system of how they work. And we need our hormones to be in balance in order to feel and function at our best. So moving right into hormone yoga therapy and what is hormone yoga therapy, we've shortened the name to HYT, and it's a unique sequence of dynamic yoga postures, dynamic breathing techniques, a Tibetan energy technique, and yoga nidra. So you will experience all of those things when we get on the mat. The method reactivates hormone production in the endocrine glands of the ovaries, thyroid, and pituitary, and indirectly in the adrenals. Dynamic postures are accompanied by breathing techniques at a very energetic level. And then at the end, we do 2 guided meditations or short nidras. So you work really hard, and then you have this relaxation, guided relaxation at the end of it. Regular practice helps to harmonize the hormonal system and consequently eliminate the symptoms of low or unbalanced hormone levels. The exercises or asanas are very simple but dynamic, and they're suitable for everyone. No previous yoga experience is necessary, so you don't need to be a yogi. You don't need to be super flexible. need to have a really, really deep understanding of these, of the history of yoga or of these techniques. And the beauty of this sequence is once you learn it, it only takes 30 minutes to do. And sometimes people that have been practicing for a long time, if I'm in a rush, I can do my practice in 26 minutes. I get messages from practitioners saying, I did my practice in between, or I threw my laundry in and it was 24 minutes and then I was done my cycle or done my hormone yoga therapy cycle. So I just want to show you, this is a very, very short little clip from an in-person workshop that I did in Calgary. I've been traveling across Canada for 2 years and the States, offering hormone yoga therapy workshops. Workshops were 8 hours. And I was actually thinking of moving it up to a 10-hour workshop. So this is just what you'll experience today this is Bhastrika breath that they're doing here. Inhale deeply, tongue at the soft palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose, Mula Bandha. 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your right ovary and exhale slowly. And change sides. Seven Bhastrikas. Inhale. Tongue at the soft palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose, Mula Bandha. 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your left ovary. Exhale slowly. Yay! So Dina Rodriguez, the founder of Hormone Yoga Therapy, I'll talk about her in a bit, but it's her claim, and I like to share it because I have firsthand experience and a lot of students who report back, but it's as effective as artificial hormone treatments, such as the hormone replacement therapy, HRT, and the birth control pill. So a lot of women are suggested by their primary caregiver to go on either one or the other, depending what's going on, and basically to help them with their hormone imbalance, symptoms of their hormone imbalance. But there are a lot of side effects, and some people cannot take the birth control pill. Some people cannot take the hormone replacement therapy, whether it's a pill, a cream, or a patch. And some people just plain old don't want to. I fell in the don't want to category. So this is how I found hormone yoga therapy. Was my doctor suggested I take the birth control pill at age 51, and then you can go on HRT in a couple of years. But I didn't want to go that route. And it's a very personal decision, and not saying that you can be on the synthetic hormone replacement and still be doing HYT. So you still can do both. With hormone yoga therapy, there are no bad side effects. We always say there's only good side effects. So again, hormone yoga is for anyone who's experiencing hormone imbalances due to various reasons. And where exactly does everything begin? It begins in the hypophysis, which is the medical term for pituitary. So you can just have a little quick look at this. This is the dance or the waltz that our hormones do, and what happens between the pituitary, the thyroid, and the ovaries. It's quite fascinating, and it's quite complicated. With hormone yoga therapy, if you have a hypothyroid, for example, so your thyroid is under functioning, and you're thinking, I'd like to try hormone yoga therapy and see if that can get my thyroid functioning. I've had lots of students who have had good success. You would still do the whole sequence. You wouldn't skip everything and just do the postures for thyroid. You would still do all the postures. So what are the benefits? Well, plain and simple, black and white, reduces, eliminates, and alleviates most symptoms associated with unbalanced hormones. So we really start to feel our, I like to call perimenopause and postmenopause Gen M. And this is when a time in our life where we really start to feel that things are maybe moving out of whack. Not a lot of us, and I did not realize that perimenopause can start as young as 35. Probably a little bit more common to start in the early 40s, and it can last 10 years. Oh my gosh. Menopause is you're considered menopause when you've had an absence of your period for 12 consecutive months. So if you didn't have a period, 5 months went by and you had a period, even if it was a light period, you're still not menopause. So it's determined with 12 months, consecutive months of no period, with an average age being about 51. Postmenopause is after that 12-month period, and you are now going to be in postmenopause for the rest of your life. Some of us will still have symptoms, but perhaps less severe. And it's really interesting because I've been teaching this now for 4 years, and I have women that are in their 60s who are saying, I'm having hot flashes again. and yet they didn't have hot flashes for 4 or 5 years. So yeah, it would be nice to not be having hot flashes or night sweats. So PMS, again, I don't believe, and this is coming from Dina as well, I don't believe that we are meant to have bad periods, heavy periods or cycles or PMS and painful PMS. What we do know is that it is caused by fluctuations of estrogen and progesterone. Some people have severe PMS, and it can last for 1 to 2 weeks before their period, and then they start their bleed, and all of a sudden, maybe you can relate to this, or you used to feel this, that all of a sudden you just feel like your whole body has let go. With the practice of hormone yoga therapy, a lot of women, most women who are doing it regularly, report that they no longer have the extreme PMS or even PMS at all. Fertility challenges. So I find this a very delicate topic, but it is very common. And it means not being able to get pregnant after 1 year of trying, or 6 months if you're 35 plus. Women who can get pregnant but are unable to stay pregnant. And it's common. About 10% of women in North America, 15 to 44, have troubles getting pregnant or staying pregnant. And miscarriage is, I believe, 1 in 4 pregnancies are miscarriages, baby loss. I have had a small handful of women do hormone yoga therapy and get pregnant. They came to the practice specifically for their fertility and got pregnant. PCOS and endometriosis. Again, that can wreak havoc on your reproductive hormones, can lead to problems with ovaries, not getting your period, heavy bleeding, very, very severe bad cramping, can be very, very painful. The gold standard for diagnosing is laparoscopic surgery, and a lot of women don't want to go that route. And so it's believed that because of their symptoms, they may have endometriosis. With hormone yoga therapy, hormone yoga therapy definitely will help with PCOS, and with endometriosis, we advise that if you know what stage you're at, if you're stage 3 to 4, hormone yoga therapy might not be ideal. Stage 1 and 2, yes, definitely. It can help. It's inflammation, so it can help reduce that inflammation. Hypothyroid. So we talked about that, underactive thyroid, lots and lots of different symptoms. You can see fatigue, sensitivity to cold, constipation, dry skin, weight gain, puffy face, hoarseness, muscle weakness, elevated blood cholesterol. There's a lot of symptoms there, and I never give medical advice. And so if you are hypothyroid and you are on thyroid medication, you listen to your primary caregiver. You may practice hormone yoga therapy, let's say for 3 to 6 months. You go in to get your thyroid check, and you may notice that your prescription or your dose has lessened. There are people on a teacher's Facebook group that I'm on who have completely come off their thyroid medication. But I have none of my students have reported that to me, but I know they've lessened their medication. HYT is not necessarily ideal for hyperthyroid, overactive thyroid. However, I have had students practice it and take their medication, and they've brought their hormones into more harmonious levels. Okay, so the method, like I mentioned, dynamic postures, what that means is that we are moving with breath. Static postures mean being still. So like warrior would be a static posture. In hormone yoga therapy, there are no downward dogs or hands and knees position, so no weight bearing. And there's no standing postures like the warrior series. So you'll see it's very different. I like to call it fun. Ideally, for results, we recommend practicing 4 to 6 times a week. And then once you obtain the results for your body, then maybe you reduce it, the number of times you practice. Now this, most people have a really hard time believing this, but most often we get results very quickly. Quickly meaning once you learn the practice and you're doing the whole 18 or 21 postures, you may notice results within a week to 2 weeks. Can be done anywhere, anytime. So you don't need any special equipment. And if there isn't a posture or if you're having a problem with the posture or challenge with the posture, there's always modifications. I like to say it works like magic. So there are some contraindications. I have the whole list of them on my website, but I listed 3 here. So certain breast cancers, if you're currently pregnant, if you're trying to get pregnant and you reach out to this practice, and let's say you've been practicing it and then you miss your period and you do a pregnancy test and you realize you're 3-4 weeks pregnant, have no worries. Then you stop the hormone yoga therapy because it did its job. And now you relax. And at 10 to 12 weeks, you switch to yoga for pregnancy. That's my message for pregnant. And then advanced osteoporosis. So these are ones that my teacher has listed. And again, except for the pregnant one, because definitely you wouldn't want to do this practice while you're currently pregnant. But with the other ones, I also work with my students one-on-one, and we talk about how we can help them with this practice and if they want to move forward with it. All right, moving on here. So here she is, the beautiful Dina Rodriguez. Brazilian psychologist and yoga therapist. She will be 94 years old in a couple of weeks. These photos are fairly current. These were taken, I would say the one on the left where she's sitting in the chair, that's from last year. And the one on the right is last year or the year before. She created this system in 1992. And so it's been around for 30 years. very popular, obviously, in Brazil, and then got very popular in Germany and Czech Republic. A lot of like hormone yoga therapy teachers in those countries and in most parts of Eastern Europe. So it's just kind of making its way over across the pond to North America. There's only a couple of us teaching here in Canada, and I actually only know one teacher in the US. There's probably more, but I am virtual friends with only one. And her hormone yoga therapy book has been translated into many, many languages. She also has written and created a sequence for men, hormone yoga for andropause, and hormone yoga for diabetes. The one for andropause, I've looked at the sequence and it's very similar to the one for women. Obviously, instead of the concentrating on the ovaries, it's the testicles. So I created, after traveling and teaching this workshop and then not being able to travel and teach it anymore, I created an online self-paced program. So for the first couple of months, last April, May, I was teaching hormone yoga via Zoom. But I had women who were registering or who wanted to register, but were in different time zones like the UK. And even Eastern Canada. So we were having issues with time because 9 o'clock here is 11 or noon or 4 in the afternoon there. So I decided that I needed to get this on an online program, self-paced, so that you can do it when you want to, when you have time. So again, 21 postures. Within the videos, there's 12 hormone yoga modules. And then I have a printable manual and a printable guide. So for any of you that are visual learners, it's all each posture is written out word by word. And then you've got the videos along to move with. There's actually 30 videos, which are showing you the postures and techniques. And then at the end of it, so let's say you purchased the program, you've learned all the postures. I recommend spending about 15 minutes a day and maybe doing learning one posture every 2 days. And then you just build to memorize it and to learn it. But at the end of it, I have the whole practice video with no stops. So you have that to guide you. And so you've got it, you've almost know each posture, but you're like, I'm not quite sure which one is next. We have the video on there for you. And then I also have an anti-stress posture video or poses video and pranayama, other breathing technique videos, and those are for relaxation techniques. I have a Monday motivational weekly email, and I love when people email me back and say, this is where I am with my practice, and I love getting these weekly emails because it's helping me stay motivated. So you get that in your inbox on Monday morning. And then I have a private Facebook community. The nice thing about having this way to present it is you have lifetime access to the program. So I know some of you did take hormone yoga therapy in a workshop, and then you leave and maybe you don't practice, for 2 or 3 days, and then you open up your notes that you took and the template and guide that I provided for you, and you're like, oh, I can't quite remember how to use that breath. So that's the great thing about having the videos. I also offer within the program a one-on-one. So you get either 2 30-minute one-on-ones or 1 60-minute one-on-one. And people are booking that once they've been working on the program, and then they have some questions to ask me. I check the breath. Maybe they have some questions about like Agnes had a question at the beginning. What if you forget a posture? Should I go back to it? So it's a one-on-one with me. And then I do 2 monthly live group classes, and it's usually either a Wednesday or Thursday morning. I teach flow class Friday morning, And yeah, so it's usually a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning, and I record it. So if you don't make it, you get the recording, and then a weekend. So for example, next Saturday, we have a group class. And obviously you can email me anytime with your questions. But most importantly, you are going to balance your hormones. So I don't know, some of you have signed up for already. Some of you have looked at the Thinkific code. So Thinkific is the platform that I'm using to host my course. And I'm offering 20% off for anybody who signed up for the demo class. So you get the, rather than it being $297, it's $237. And I will send you the promo code. I think I sent you a promo code already, but I resend it. So just a quick recap. Who can benefit from hormone yoga therapy? People from age 35 plus is a preventative therapy due to the decreasing ovarian activity and associated with a general decrease in hormone production. A lot of women say to me, oh, I'm only 36. Why would I need to practice this? I'm a long way from perimenopause. Yes and no, you're a long way. It's inevitable. We are all going to go through it. And Dina's motto, and I like Dina's motto, is why not get on top of things? It's kind of like saying, I'm just going to eat junk food for the next 5 years. And then when I'm this age, I'm going to start eating really healthy because I need to start eating healthy. No, why would we be eating junk food 24/7? Maybe that's a bad analogy, but you know what I mean. Okay, people who wish to alleviate the unpleasant symptoms of hot flashes, insomnia, night sweats, emotional instability, depression, headaches, migraine, difficulty concentrating, remembering, decreased libido, brain fog, and more. On a personal level, so I'm 57, about 5 years, 2016, I had fibroids on my left ovary. My doctor just was watching them. So we weren't going to do anything about them, but we were watching them. Heavy periods, migraines. I wasn't having hot flashes or night sweats yet. Brain fog for sure. And irritability and grumpiness and all those things. And that's when my doctor recommended the pill. And I decided that, yoga has helped me a lot through many different stages. There's got to be a yoga system or method that is for hormones specifically. So I Googled hormones, yoga, migraines, and that's how I discovered Dina Rodriguez. Bought her book and then learned the practice from her book. And then about a year later, saw that she was doing a yoga teacher training for hormone yoga therapy in English in Santiago, Chile. And that's how I became a hormone yoga therapy teacher and kind of got my life back. Fibroids went away, and they often do, but mine went away very quickly. Periods alleviated, went into perimenopause, menopause, or slid into menopause, I think a little bit more smoothly. And then the other things is if you are younger and you're not at that stage of your life, but you are trying to get pregnant, or you have PCOS, other menstrual disorders, PMS, and premature menopause is also something that this can help with. And I have students who came premature menopause is when things start changing rapidly around or even before the age of 35. Okay, so I'm going to switch this off now, and you'll have this in your recording, and we will get on our mat. Share. There we go. I got everybody back. So it's a lot to take in, but as you know, what we're working on is now tie your hair back because we're going to get up and start moving. Pituitary, thyroid, and ovaries. Okay, the very first breath that we do in hormone yoga therapy is Bhastrika breath. And some of you may be familiar with Bhastrika breath or Kalabati breath. This Bhastrika breath in hormone yoga therapy is where we inhale and exhale, but the exhale is very, very strong. Okay, so this, it almost seems counterintuitive if you are experiencing some hot flashes already to create heat in the body, but trust me, it works. So we're going to do a couple seated, and I just moved my screen down so you can see. And then we're going to stand up and do some of the first postures. So if you're new to Bhastrika breath, just have your hands on your diaphragm, and you're going to keep your mouth closed and breathe in and out of your nose. Remember, Bhastrika breath is the main breath that we use in nearly every posture in the sequence. So when you inhale, your belly expands, and when you exhale, very quickly draw it back. And the rhythm isn't slow. The rhythm is about like this, like a 4/4 time of a metronome. So do 7 and then stop and do 7 more. In most of the postures, we only do 7 Bhastrikas, and then we switch to another technique. Okay, very common to feel dizzy or a little bit lightheaded when we begin. If you feel that way, then stop doing it, take a break, and then try again. So let's do 2 rounds together. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and for 7 Bhastrikas. Take a break by taking a deep breath in and exhale. And we'll do 7 more, and then we'll stand up. And then inhale, exhale. So the first 5 postures in hormone yoga therapy are standing. So we don't start seated. We don't start with neck rolls or anything like that. We start standing. And we'll do the first 5 together. And you'll kind of get an idea of it. So we're warming up, and almost everybody feels after doing just the warming up sequence, before they've even started the daily series, they start feeling better on all parts of their body. So palms face up towards your chin, and then you turn your palms down. And this is the movement. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So my arms are just going up and down. And we're going to integrate this with breath. And just remember that we're stretching the ovaries here, so it's not bent at the elbows. If you have a shoulder injury, we would do the arm that doesn't have the shoulder injury. All right, so let's try 7 together. Remember, this is just a demo, just to give you an idea of what the postures look like. So breath in, breath out. Remember, you're breathing in and out of your nose, mouth, lips are closed, and for 7. It's kind of like chopping wood. Okay, the next 7 are again with the shoulders, warming up the shoulders. The movement is arms are up, and the movement is side bend, side bend, side bend, side bend. And we do this for 7 with the Bhastrika breath. So move along with me. Feet are hip distance apart, so you're not standing tight together or far apart. Okay, and really stretch them up if you can. If your hands don't feel good with your palms turned up towards the sky, turn your palms down towards your crown. So we begin with inhale, exhale with the Bhastrika. 5, 6, 7, Good. Almost every posture we begin on the left side. Now we do 7, starting to the right side with the Bhastrika. Inhale to the right. Nice, and then float your arms down. Now we move from shoulders to warming up the hips. Fingers are interlaced, and you just place your hands behind your head. This is the movement. It's just side to side with the hips, but we do that with Bhastrika breath. So you would go and then we do 7 more. Good. So that was side to side. I'll show you from the side so you'll see better. Now we do forward and back. So it's like a cat-cow sway. So this is what this movement looks like. And we begin with the Bhastrika breath. 5, 6, 7. Now you try to do the opposite. Inhale. So you're in a cat position. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And arms down. So we only have one more standing position, and then the rest we're all down on our bottoms. So this, now we've moved shoulders, hips. Now we're just warming up the hamstrings. So we cross our right leg over our left. And inhale, you might just want to watch for a minute and then you can join. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, fold over. If your hamstrings are tight, don't cross your legs, and you can have your block or cushion for your hands. And this is the movement, up, down, and we integrate the Bhastrika breath here. So inhale, up, exhale, down for 7. Inhale, come back up. Good. And then exhale, lower your arms. I'm standing at an angle here so you can see it better. Inhale. In the videos, I go through this slowly and I give you all kinds of little tips and pointers to help make it a little bit more accessible if you're having trouble, but just don't worry for today. Exhale, fold forward, and for 7 Bhastrikas. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower your arms down. So like I said, there's no downward dogs. Come to your mat now and you can sit down. If you have a cushion, I'm a big proponent of getting a cushion underneath your bum. No weight bearing for hands and wrists. A lot of people start getting arthritis in their hands and wrists. So there's no weight bearing, no downward dogging, no planks. So 2 more seated or 2 more postures that are seated in the warming up part. This one is called the flying hares. And Dina says this is for hair health. Okay, so you interlace your fingers in front of your chest, and this is one of my favorite seated ones. So this is the movement: left, right, left, right, left, right. Now you do, good job. Now we integrate the Bhastrika with this. So inhale left, exhale right. So it's good. And then you come back to center. So this one, a lot of people, we really need to work on this one, and we're stiff and tight in our back, and we end up doing this. But, and through the videos, I explain this. What you want to do is spot your elbow so that you're really twisting your trunk and not just the shoulders. And look at your tip of your elbow so you don't get dizzy. Now we do 7 more, but we start going to the right first. Strong Bhastrika. Good. So don't be surprised if you feel a little bit dizzy. So the last posture for the warming up is cat-cow sway. So you can either be seated for both these postures, or if you want, you can kneel or kneel on your bolster. But this one is, we do 3 rounds. So it's in, out, in, out. So warming up the spine. So good. If you practice breath retention in your yoga practice, you can do your next round using breath retention. If not, do 7 more with Bhastrika breath. And then we'll do 1 more with Bhastrika breath. You can do it kneeling. Okay, so that's the warming up part of hormone yoga therapy. Seriously, once you know those postures, I think it takes about 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes. So what makes hormone yoga therapy very different than other methods of yoga is the Tibetan energy circulation that we do. We don't do it in the warming up postures, but we do it in nearly every posture in the daily series. Okay, this is what the Tibetan energy circulation is. In the program, I've shortened it to COE, circulation of energy. Okay, so close your eyes. Good. Inhale. Hold your breath. Roll the tip of your tongue to your soft palate. Concentrate on the tip of the nose. Kegel. So in Sanskrit or in yoga language, we call it the Mula Bandha. Change your concentration to your left ovary and exhale slowly. Exhale the energy to the left ovary. Release your tongue. Release your pelvic floor muscles. In the program, I go through this very slowly and explain each and every step and what is actually happening with the tongue, with the muscles of the pelvic floor. Okay, that's why this system, this method is so amazing, because you may not have any symptoms of hormonal imbalance, but oh gosh, when you got to pee now. And that is also, that could be weak pelvic floor muscles. A lot of us experience flatulence and not being able to, let's say you're out in public, you have to fart and you can't hold that fart. I mean, yes, walk away and fart, but sometimes there's, you're just like, but also it's muscles down there, and it's not bad. It's not weird or unusual to start losing our muscle. We got to strengthen those muscles as much as we need to strengthen our quads and our arms, right? Let's do another COE, and then I'll show you the first posture in the daily series. So inhale, doesn't need to be a deep breath in. In fact, it's better if you don't inhale too deeply. So in breath, hold your breath, roll your tongue to the soft palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose. Mula Bandha, 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your right thyroid and exhale slowly. So we just really have to remember that when we exhale, we release the Mula Bandha, really relax the pelvic floor muscles, and release the tongue. All right, first posture looks like, seated tree or Janu Shirsasana for anybody who has somewhat of a yoga practice, okay? But the difference with this one is we're not concentrating on the hamstring, we're concentrating on starting on the left leg. So make sure you have your left leg forward. I'm not going to mirror you. We're concentrating on the left ovary. If you've had your ovaries removed or one or the other ovary removed, you still have that memory there. Okay, so lots and lots of ladies come to this practice who've had ovaries or full hysterectomies or partial hysterectomies and have really had a lot of success with how they feel. So the way this posture works is hands down. We reach our arms up to the sky, little twist over to the extended leg. Again, there's little tiny little tips and details that I'm not going through today. If you can't reach your foot, your hand is on your shin. This is the movement. Flex and point, and we integrate this with Bhastrika breath. So it's keep your foot pointed. Inhale, stay low, inhale, hold your breath, tongue in the soft palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose. Mula Bandha, 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your left ovary and exhale slowly. And then you come up. So we're feeling balanced in our ovaries. Let's do the other side. So switch to your right leg forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, little twist to, so your leg is out to the side and it's not directly in front. It's in line with the ovary. And we do 7 Bhastrikas here. Point your foot, inhale. Hold your breath, tongue in the soft palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose. Mula Bandha, 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your right ovary and exhale slowly. Good. And then come back up. So that's the very first posture and a little sample of ovary compression and what we do with the ovaries. The next posture we're going to do does not have Bhastrika breath, and you can either do this kneeling or you can do it seated. So if you have knee challenges, you can do it seated. If your knees are okay, come up to your knees. You place your fists behind your head and you press right into the occipital bones there. And we don't do Bhastrika with this one. So it's an inhale. You can watch or do along with me, and we exhale and we drop the left hip down and right elbow down towards the floor. Inhale up, exhale, other side, inhale up, exhale, fold forward. This one we do 3 times. Inhale, exhale. Good job. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale forward. And do it one more time, and I'll just demo it seated. So it'd be inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, so that's a posture without Bhastrika breath. Now I'm skipping over a couple of postures, and we're going to do one on our back. This one has 5 positions. We are going to do 2 of the positions, and the circulation of energy is the pituitary. Okay, so I'll show you the position. You just lay on your back, hug your knees in towards your shoulders. So you're compressing your ovaries. Good. You can even hold your hands over your knees or your shins or use a strap. And we do 7 Bhastrikas here on our back. Inhale. Hold your breath, tongue in the soft palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose. Mula Bandha, 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to go up, hair, face, eyes, and skin, and exhale out the top of your head. Good. And then lower your feet down. Place your hands either in a fist or hands flat under your hips. Left knee in towards your shoulder, right leg extended, just hovering up off the floor. So your shoulders at the back of your head is still resting on the floor. You're supporting your pelvis with your hands, and we alternate. So now we're moving with Bhastrika breath like we did in that very first posture. So this is the movement, and then we do it with Bhastrika. Mula Bandha, 1, 2, and exhale slowly. Good. Lowering your feet down to the corner edges of your mat. Release your hands open. All right, we're going to skip over a short nidra, and I'm going to demo a thyroid posture now. So you walk your heels towards your hips. Reach your hands to your ankles, or you can have your hands pressing and your arms pressing against your mat. So this combines movement and then Bhastrika breath. So we do 7 baby bridges. Inhale the hips up, regular breath, not Bhastrika breath, for 7. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 7th one, we want to hold our hips up in the air. And if you can, walk your hands underneath your hips or use a block or slide your bolster underneath your hips. Now we're compressing the thyroid. Yeah, you got it. Compress the thyroid. We do 7 Bhastrikas here. Inhale. Tongue in the palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose, Mula Bandha, 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your thyroids and exhale slowly. And then we slowly lower our back and our hips down. Good. All right, so the next one I want to show you is stretching the thyroid. This next posture has 1, 2, 4 positions. So we're not going to do all 4 positions, but I'm going to show you this stretching of the thyroid position. Okay. So you are on your back, but you come up to your forearms and point your toes up. A lot of people know this as fish pose, but it's not like fish pose. We're not lifting the heart and the chest up, so that can stay relaxed. Ujjayi breath. So we don't do Bhastrika breath here. We do Ujjayi breath. That's that breath that sounds like an ocean wave, but we want to make it really loud, like you're snoring. Try it. We do 3, and we tilt the head back. Regular breath in, hold, tongue in the palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose, Mula Bandha, 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your thyroid and exhale slowly. And then the last posture, I didn't show you the first two, but this is one where we compress the thyroid. So this is called Ujjayi breath for thyroid and metabolism. Toes are pointing up, hands are behind the head. We're compressing the thyroid. We do those 3 Ujjayi breaths. Inhale. Hold the breath, tongue in the palate, concentrate on the tip of the nose, Mula Bandha, 1, 2, 3. Change your concentration to your thyroids and exhale slowly. Good, and then lower your head down. Okay, so there's some stuff that's happening in between those postures. I showed them to you in the order that they would be in, so I didn't jump around. So the first few are ovaries, compressing. I didn't show you the stretching ovary ones because there's a technique in there that takes a lot more teaching. And then we switch to thyroid, and then we do thyroid and ovaries and pituitary. And then the very last posture before the yoga nidras is the Viparita Karina, and it's the modified shoulder stand. And a lot of people get really fearful or frightened of the modified shoulder stand, but the way that we teach it is that you can modify even more than how we're doing it. All right, so there are 7 positions in the last shoulder or in the last posture, which is the shoulder stand, and it's mostly for the thyroid and the hypophysis, but then there's also one for the ovaries. We're not going to do it because, like I said, it's a whole unit in itself, but this is what it looks like. So it's not shoulder stand like this. Hips are back, compressing the thyroid. Lots of people, when they're first learning it, they'll slide a bolster or their yoga block under their hips, and they just start to get used to the leg. So it doesn't work doing this with legs up the wall. So for example, just so you understand, the first one we're doing the duck with the feet, and we're doing Bhastrika breaths. So then we would do the COE, concentrate the energy to the thyroid and pituitary. And then a position where we're not moving is legs in a V. So that would be 7 Bhastrikas, concentrate the energy. So like I said, there's several different positions here. And after each position, we do the circulate the energy. Once you come down, rub our hands together 36 times, and then we come into the yoga nidras. For people who are learning using the videos, what I recommend is that you do, let's say you learn the warming up and you're going to take a week to just do the warming up exercises, but skip the daily series and listen to the guided meditations. We're going to do one of the guided meditations next. And then let's say after 2 weeks, you do your warming up and you do the first posture. And then you do the guided meditations, and then you layer it like that, but you end with the guided meditations, because all you need to do is lay on your back and listen to the recording. Okay. And Dina calls it yoga nidra. It's not specifically yoga nidra as what most of us know and understand what yoga nidra is. It doesn't necessarily go through all the body parts, and it doesn't necessarily, it's not 20 or 25 minutes long. it's shorter than that. So the 2 yoga nidras only take about 6 minutes. So let's do the 1 yoga nidra, the very last one, and it's the chakra, balancing the chakras. So all you need to do is get comfy and lay down on your back. Grab a blanket if you're starting to feel chilly, or put on your socks. So yeah, get nice and comfortable. Some of you are outside and you can probably hear the birds, children playing. Okay. So there is a yoga nidra before this, and but it's a little bit longer. This is the shorter one. So the words are in Sanskrit, but their translation is also here into English. Okay. Harmonization of the 2 poles and 7 chakras. Ajna chakra, which is the root and the center of your head, and the Muladhara chakra, which is the perineal area. Those are the 2 poles. Ajna is the center of the mind, the reasoning, and it represents the individual. Muladhara is the reproductive area, which represents the species. We're going to make energy circulate through the whole body, through the spine, from one pole to the other. And then we end it concentrating in Sahasrara chakra, which is at the top of our head. Okay, so we begin. Concentrate in a point between your eyebrows. Imagine there is a light above it. Inhale slowly, imagining you're inhaling light. Concentrate on the center of your head and exhale, feeling the energy expanding within your head like a big star, very white and scintillating. Hold on, feeling the energy in the individual pole, center of your head. Now inhale, gathering all this energy in only one point. Change your concentration to the perineal area and exhale, feeling this energy going down your spine to the species pole, expanding like a very white star of light. Inhale deeply, bringing the energy to one point in the perineum. Change the concentration to Muladhara chakra. Exhale, visualizing a beautiful lotus opening very slowly. It has 4 petals. It is red. Inhale, bringing the energy to one point in Muladhara chakra. Change the concentration to Swadhisthana chakra on the low abdomen. Exhale and visualize a beautiful lotus opening very slowly. It has 6 petals and it is orange. Inhale, bringing the energy to one point in Swadhisthana chakra. Change the concentration to Manipura chakra at the solar plexus. And exhale, visualizing a beautiful lotus opening very slowly. It has 10 petals of fire and it is yellow. Inhale, bringing the energy to one point in Manipura chakra. Change the concentration to Anahata chakra near the heart. And exhale, visualizing a beautiful lotus opening very slowly. It is green and has 12 petals. Inhale, bringing the energy to one point in Anahata chakra. Change the concentration to Vishuddha chakra at the throat. And exhale, visualizing a beautiful lotus opening. It has 16 petals and it is blue. Inhale, bringing the energy to one point in Vishuddha chakra. Change the concentration to Ajna chakra between your eyebrows. And exhale, visualizing a beautiful lotus opening. It has 2 huge petals opening very slowly. In each petal, a myriad of small petals appear and cover your temples completely. It is indigo. Inhale, bringing the energy to one point in Ajna chakra. Change the concentration to Sahasrara chakra at the top of your head, and exhale, visualizing a beautiful lotus with thousands of petals opening very slowly. They spread and cover your entire body. Your body is shining, covered in violet light. Yoga Nidra is finished. Slowly begin to come back into your body. It's rolling to your side and then coming up to your seat. I know it felt like a very short Shavasana. So within your own hormone yoga therapy practice, after you do the 2 guided meditations, this was the second one, we didn't do the first, then you can continue with your Shavasana. There's, I want to do a Q&A, so I thought I'd get everybody out. Feel free to open up your camera now so we can see each other, or I can see you and your beautiful face. Here's the Hormone Yoga Therapy book, and this is how I learned the sequence. So this was from 2009, I think. So even here, Dina is 2009, so 10, 12 years ago. She's still like 80 some years old in this picture. She created this with the intention of it being for menopausal women. She was 60 some years old, and in Brazil, like in parts of Europe and other places in the world, women get their hormones checked often, yearly, like not like here in Canada or the US. And her doctor was really quite taken aback and surprised how high her levels were. And he asked her what she does and what her secret is. He knew she was a yoga teacher, and she just says, I do a yoga method and for hormones. And he said, is it something that you can create and teach to other women? So they did it together, and they did they had study groups. And if you dig into the internet, you can find, it's all in Portuguese. So unless you want to translate it. But anyways, they found that it was working really well for women in menopause, but then other women started to want to learn it because they figured, well, if it's helping their hormones, it might help my hormones. And so that's how other ladies started doing it. But it did begin first for women in menopause. I wanted to share something else with you, but it's just left my mind. That's anybody have any questions here? You can write it in the chat box. So she is still planning on going back on the road. She makes her trip to Germany and other parts of Europe every year. Since the pandemic, obviously, we're not doing that, but through the grapevine, I've heard that she's planning on, at 94 years old, she's planning on going traveling again and teaching. And what I really took from her is, I just remembered what I wanted to tell you, is that what her posture is like, and how her bones and her muscles are for a person her age. So this is really what, for me, makes me want to do this practice, and the fact that I can do it in 30 minutes and I don't have to spend hours on my mat for results. But what I wanted to tell you is that the base that she created this on obviously has roots in Kundalini and then Shivananda yoga. So there's all different types of yoga under the Hatha umbrella. And there were a group of teachers in the mid to late 90s in Germany that were Shivananda teachers. and they took her teacher training, but they changed the template a little bit. And the reason why I know this is I'm virtual friends with a teacher in Germany, and she told me this story. And so these Shivananda teachers thought, there's not enough Shivananda in this practice, so we're going to put more, we're going to make it a little bit different than the Dina Rodriguez method. But guess what happened? Women weren't getting results. It didn't work the same way. So it's just there's something about this that nobody really understands. And if you watch the video that I sent, where she's being interviewed in English in Germany, the interviewer says, "What is this, Dina? Is it like a magic?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's magic." So that's how I look at it too. So we have a question here. I took the training with you in 20. Has it changed much? No, in fact, it's actually just the same. If anything, we, instead of doing that modified pigeon 3 times, we do it once to each side. So we didn't demo that one today. And when we're doing the shoulder stand, modified shoulder stand at the end, we've taken out one of the postures. Otherwise, it's the same, Anita.
I'm not far.
Well, you've been busy because you moved.
Yeah. So I'll get into it.
Yeah, I know, we all have busy lives, and so we do recommend doing it in the morning. And to be honest, I have a glass of water and I have my coffee, and then I do my yoga. I have my coffee first. Karen and I know Karen must have her coffee first too. But yeah, so we do recommend doing it in the morning, but if morning is not the time, any time that you have time in your day, we just don't recommend practicing hormone yoga therapy at night before bed, because it's way too stimulating and energizing. And so the practice for the evening or nighttime on those videos would be the anti-stress exercises and the pranayama exercises. But as far as, 15 minutes in the morning isn't very much time to turn it on and get it going. I always say, have your mat laid out, have your stuff ready to go, have the computer all queued up so that you're ready to go, and you just do it. If you have younger kids, children, get the kids to join with you. Yeah, I know I have a couple students who have younger elementary school age kids, and they're like, "Mommy, you're doing that funny breathing again." I haven't practiced since I took the training. Would it be better to take the whole thing online course again, or the short online course? That, Anita, is really up to you. So I have a number. So when I was teaching in person, I had about 200 students that I saw over the course of those workshops, and a number of them have bought the whole course simply because in an 8-hour workshop, a lot of these techniques for a lot of people are really new. In the shorter video, for people who've taken the course before, I don't teach the techniques at all. It's the video from start to finish with no stops. So Anita, it's up to you for sure. Rebecca, what is the caveat about breast cancer? Is there dates on it? The caveat is if it was estrogen supported breast cancer, and if we're saying breast cancer free 5 years, 4 to 5 years, and it's not a bad combo to have with your doctor. I have had women who have been breast cancer free. Obviously, when you're going through chemo or radiation or whatever your course of is, you wouldn't be practicing this because you need to be resting. But what if your energy is back and you're feeling really good and you need to start moving again? What I often suggest is run it by your doctor. Just say, hey, there's this yoga practice. Most doctors here in Canada and the US, they will say, yes, go do your yoga practice for sure, but they don't really have a, I'm trying to get my doctor on board to do this because she has told me her hormonal challenges right now. And I'm just like, you give this a try. I mean, it's not expensive. Like it's, I mean, you can, go to taking supplements and vitamins and, yeah. I don't talk about food. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a ND or anything like that. But I mean, food does play a huge role in our hormonal health for sure. I don't talk about food in the videos at all, but we may in the one-on-one or in the classes, but food and nutrition has been my side, not hustle, side gig, hobby. And I do, we need to eat well. We need to eat a colorful diet. I'm not a fan of any fad diets. Believe me, I've tried a lot of them and they can wreak havoc on our hormones. We need to eat food and we need fat in our diet. In my training, there weren't a lot of women. There was only 8 of us from all different parts of the world and different languages. Dina taught in English and we had a translator, but we were all curious, like, Dina, what do you eat? And her answer was, look, I'm Brazilian. We eat, and the ladies wanted to know if she was vegetarian, because a lot of people have gone to 100% plant-based diet, and she just said she's not vegetarian. She eats red meat and she eats fish and she drinks wine and she more vegetables and fruits. So again, she doesn't cover food and diet. She does in her book actually at the back, but she doesn't in her teacher training. But I saw her drinking coffee and eating chocolate cake, and I was just like, yes. So, I mean, this is not a diet program at all. This is not a weight loss program. However, you will notice with regular practice, and I guarantee you that you will notice your waistline come in. You'll notice your tummy muscles strengthen. You'll notice, more importantly, your core, your pelvic floor, not tighten, but strengthen. So there's all these other little surprises. A lot of women report an increase in their libido because it's very common. And during COVID, things have been very stressful for lots of us, and stress does play an important role in depleting our hormones. So often libido is one thing that really is activated. And I'll get emails from students saying, Corinne, so I didn't, like these are 40, 30, 40, 50 something year old women. I didn't really realize that my orgasms would become so intense. And so she was just like, is something wrong, or is this something to expect? And I'm just like, yeah, it's some of us will experience it. And we all have different lives and backgrounds and where we're coming from and what's going on in our bodies. So, but the majority with regular practice do get results. So if it's a PMS thing or heavy periods, or one of the things that I want to cover is, because you may be in that stage, is that when I did go do I'd been practicing for a year, but I was practicing from a book. So I wasn't 100% clear on some of the techniques. When I went and did my training with Dina, I had 2 periods in that year. So that was 2017. And I was ready to menopause. I was like, I don't need my period and that anymore at 53, I think I was. So I was worried that my period would come back, because this really helps for people who have irregular periods, or not getting periods, or periods too close together, period problems, right? So I was worried about that. And she was like, puts her hand on my shoulder and she's like, my dear Corrine, your period will end when it ends. So don't worry about whether this practice, she said, you were born with the X number of eggs and you will have your last period when it will end. So I had my last period in August 2017, did my training in November 2017 and didn't have another period. So, but all that I'm getting at is that if you're thinking, oh, my period, like, what about my period? How will it affect it? It'll make it better if it's bad, but it won't make it come back if your body's ready to be in menopause. Periods. Do we do this practice when we are menstruating, when we're bleeding? We recommend to listen to your body. Lots of ladies don't do it the first couple days that maybe their bleed is heavy and they really just need to do the anti-stress exercises. Bhastrika breath is very, very strong. And with that engagement of the pelvic floor, that is basically counteracting the release of our flow. And so what I say is listen to your body, see if your body wants to do it. Maybe you do the warming up only. Maybe you do the daily series, but you don't do the Mula Bandha part. Okay. And maybe instead of maybe you're already practicing regularly and you've already learned the shoulder stand, maybe you do legs up the wall instead. Okay, so lots of ladies who have had bad cramps and clotting have found that they've been doing the practice during their period and it took those cramps away, those uterine contraction cramps. I used to say that near the end there, when I was having bad uterine period cramps, it was worse than being in transition when I was delivering my babies. I was like, I think transition was easier than these cramps right now. But that's that's a very common question that everybody has about their period and whether they should practice or not. But other than that, it's practice half an hour. Ending here to feel like the box is closed and you're ready to move on with your day. So let your hands rest on your lap or hands at the heart. And just take a couple of breaths, reconnecting to your breath. Send yourself loving kindness and gratitude for hopping on and learning or relearning or revisiting Hormone Yoga Therapy. And remember that it is always here for you when you are ready. We are focusing specifically on the endocrine system of the sex hormones, the ovaries, thyroid, and pituitary, and a little bit indirectly with the adrenals. I send my heartfelt big gratitude and loving kindness to you for popping on here this morning. And thank you very much. All right. Happy weekend, everybody. It's almost Earth Day. What is that? April 21st or 20th? So, all right. Namaste.
Namaste.